good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending wherever you're listening to this. And that's week 10 in the bag. How's it going, Craig?
Good afternoon, Johnny. Yes, week 10. It's through week 10. There's going to be a lot of heartbroken managers this week who have now come to the realisation that the season's all about avoiding relegation as opposed to sneaking into the playoffs. All of those teams that were 3 and 5, 4 and 6, and 4 and 5, 3 and 6 that have lost this week are resigned to consolation playoffs now. You would think, and yes, there'll be a lot of happy teams that are very much feeling like they're looking good for a playoff spot now. But with 4 weeks to go, there's going to be a lot of teams there in the middle with a whole lot to play for.
Yeah, there's one division especially close. Which could, it's scarily how close it is, but yeah. And obviously we're into no, not well. It's still pretty close, but and it'll be the quarterfinals now of the Rousey Cup as well, which we'll go through a bit eventually. But so we'll start off with Division 4 West Conference. Dwarf is staying. I'll start reading the scores. My throat starts to go. I'll get you to carry on. But can you see that? It's up to 125. So
yeah.
So we've got the Cork Red Army, 193.87 against the Fullwood Patriots, 161.49. Newcastle Mad Guys, 172.76 against the Birmingham Patriots, 208.54. The Clemson Marines, 203 up against the Plymouth Assassins, 154. Gloucester Wolfpack, 149.5 against the Trinity Flyers, 244.72. The Rhiney Cardinals, 232.05 against the Q Kings, 129.62. Then you've got the showing the money derby down the bottom there. You've got the Bangham Sharks, 191 against 195 to Peterhead Bloody Jets. So pretty close down there for that one.
Yeah, I mean that's an unlucky one for Sean, for his Bangham Sharks, and as it's killed them, and we marked Peterhead Bloody Jets at 1-8 going into the game. It's a nothing game for him because of course Division 4 he can't be relegated, so it's on to next year already. And for Sean's Bangham Sharks, that's the final nail in the coffin now at 3 and 7. They're gone. Big win for Rhiney Cardinals there as well, 5 and 5 against Q Kings, 5 and 5. So that was 4 and 5 against a 5 and 4. So massive win there. Trinity Flyers, welcome to the playoffs. Gloucester Wolfpack and the chasing pack a little bit. Again, a great win for Clemson Marines. That's at 5 and 5 against Plymouth Assassins, now 4 and 6. With 4 games to go, that win could be crucial. The Newcastle Magpies losing to the Birmingham Patriots. That the big win for the Birmingham Patriots who were behind. Getting to that they're both 6 and 4 now. So so some really big results there, and it must make let's have a look at the division, see how it looks. So Trinity Flyers 2 games ahead now, and what they're looking at now, it's not about getting into the playoffs, it's now about securing the first round bye, isn't it, and securing promotion, because I'm right in saying that if you get you need to win, do you need to win 1 game? No, if you get the bye year in,
the top 2 are automatically promoted. It's obviously you'll be trying to win the helmet, but the top 2 is guaranteed promotion. So,
of course, you're after the division win, and there is a monetary prize for winning the division as well, isn't there? So so a lot to play for still, but first things first, get that promotion secured and make sure you get that the top 2 spots. And I would say that 1 win will be more than enough for Trinity Flyers there. And then there's a whole lot of 6 and 4s and a whole lot of 5 and 5s. It's 6 and 4, 5 and 5. Rhiney Cardinals could effectively win this week and go from 8th to 2nd. Now it's not going to happen because ones above them are going to win as well, but it could happen there. So it's everything's so tight and behind Trinity Flyers. And Plymouth Assassins at 4 and 6, they're not out of it. Fullwood Patriots 4 and 6, they're not out of it. Far from it, But they are now. They're 1 win behind 6th, but it's only 6th. They're 2 wins behind 5th. So the winning streak has to start now. And 11th and 12th, the Bangham Sharks and the Copenhagen Badley Jets, or whatever they're called in here, are Dida's doorknobs.
Well, that's a crazy thing, obviously, because it was It wasn't close, but the fact Plymouth Assassins losing to the Clemson Marines, that spot could have just been flipped over.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly that. You know, the Q Kings losing, the Q Kings losing to who was it they lost to now? I think it was Rainy Cardinals. But yeah, that's dropped them right out the playoff spots completely. You know, so it was a big move in the wrong direction for Q Kings. But I mean, it's when you look at the scores in the week, you know, again, it's kind of anything in the 200 should be good enough. And then you see one team that's up there at like 245, 250, and you go, yep. You've got Jonathan Taylor, you know, and that's just that's just kind of been the story of this week type thing, you know. So I'm pretty sure Jonathan Taylor will reside with Trinity Flyers, you know. Or Achan does then. Okay, sorry, it's Achan.
I'm going to guess it. Jonathan Taylor's maybe with Rainy Cardinals. No, you had Henderson. Who they are?
Henderson, Henderson there as well. I mean, it's you know, and the thing about it is now is there's I said it earlier, but there's a lot of teams going in different directions now. You know, there's a lot because the injuries are still pouring in. They've not stopped happening. But also the teams who had injuries a few weeks ago, you know, they're starting to get their players back, where other teams are starting to lose their player, you know, so the dynamics of lineups are starting to change quite a lot as well at this point, you know. So yeah, you know, if you been on a winning streak at this point in time, I would say is a very good thing, you know, because things are starting to happen for you. And as I say, when you start getting players back, you know, anything can happen. If you can sneak into those playoffs and you've got kind of say Joe Burrow sitting on your IR, he might be very well be back for the playoff time, and he can make such a difference to your team. So yeah, it's still everything to play for, and these kind of the teams are going to be changing quite a lot over the coming weeks, even without trades. You know, I think agency movement's going to be very, very important from here on in.
Yeah, well, there was 6 waiver claims. That was a week ago. I was only 3 yesterday. It's not too bad, but obviously teams are happy with their Brady's Brummies have been busy. They picked up 3 teams. They picked up Devin White, Tyler Loop, and they got Micah Wilson, which is a good pickup this week with Marvin Harrison in it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, he could have a big week this week with Marv not being there, because Brissett's certainly shown that he can find the yardages out. So you know, obviously McBride will be the number 1 target, but you would fully expect Wilson to see an uptick in targets this week with Harrison
Greg Dortch as well. So here we go.
I mean, as I said, this is the time, Johnny. You know, there's 4 weeks to go. Time is running out, and if you're going to make a move, now is the time. You know, so a lot of these games are going to be very, very important, and a lot of these games are, you know, Trinity Flyers and Copenhagen Jets and Bangham Sharks aside, those 3 teams. Every other game is exceedingly important.
Yeah, that's obviously was. There are going to be lots of close. We got the Newcastle Magpies against the Cork Red Army, 2 6 and 4s. Plymouth Assassins against the Fulwood Patriots, 2 4 and 6s. So you imagine whoever loses that's got no hope in hell of getting up.
That's a loser goes home game, that for sure. The Plymouth Assassins and Fulwood Patriots, massive. I love to see those types of games because it's an all or nothing game. That one, it's if you lose, you're out.
Yeah, I think it's got the Assassins. Obviously, they didn't start well. Then they won a couple of games in a row. Got us still in it, but looking like they're not going to do enough. Got the Birmingham Patriots up against the Wolfpack, 2 6 and 4s. A battle of the 5 and 5s. You've got the Rainy Cardinals against the Clemson Marines. You've got the Trinity Flyers going to get their bye week and go up to 9 and 2 against the Peterhead Bloody Jets. Then you've got the Bangham Sharks. You're basically a bit against the Q Kings. So, but it's looking like it's going to be a close game prediction wise. So that's one game they do not want to lose against a 3 and 7 team when you've got everybody else.
I mean, for Q Kings, they've kind of won the watch this week. You know, everyone else that's in the playoff hunt are all playing against each other. So half of them are going to win, half of them are going to lose. So Q Kings have won the watch this week in the sense that, you know, Trinity Flyers are playing Peterhead Bloody Jets and they're gone. Bye bye. You're promoted. Well done. It's all about. So Q Kings have got the best game that they could possibly have this week. So I would say that if they do not win this week after losing last week as well, I would be worried if I was a Q Kings manager with 3 weeks to go. So yeah, very much a big week for them this week. It's one of those banana skins that you can definitely fall over on easily, but you really shouldn't. You should be winning that one.
Yeah, and obviously Rainy Cardinals, they must have had Henderson and maybe May.
Yeah, definitely Henderson, but
Henderson
could be a
38 points.
defender as well.
Or
Yes,
Spillane
Spillane. I
got
thought maybe
17.
Spillane
So
because I've got
nice.
Spillane with 17s.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
one. I mean Henderson's a massive start. Henderson's a massive start for them in a game that again 2 5-5 teams. So it really is one of them is going to give them with 3 weeks to go, they're going to be in a great position, and the other one's going to be right in the mire. So, yeah, it's a massive start to get those points on the board, and especially for Rainy Cardinals, who down there are the last team at 5-5, so have got the lowest points for. So they really are going to rely on getting the game wins as opposed to the point tracking up. So great start for them this week.
The game wins and the points could help them jump above Q Kings and actually end up in 6th place if Q Kings actually win. So it's a 55-point start on Thursday night. It's a pretty good start. So I think Q Kings are 208. So yeah, it's going to be it's a good league this one.
The 6 and 4s as well. The 6 and 4s aren't guaranteed to be in the playoffs yet. It's right up to second, but the 5 and 5s, down to 7th and 8th. So the 6 and 4s, you really need that win to get themselves up and give themselves that wee bit of leeway between the chasing pack, because they could very easily be dragged into it if they lose a couple of weeks in a row. So yeah, but big weeks for most of the teams, as I say, and. If Bangham Sharks can go and stick a spanner in the works and give Q Kings beat Q Kings, that would be. I'm sure the rest of the league would be quite happy with Sean for that one.
Oh, definitely. They would be indeed. So that's the 4th division. So we'll go on to Division 3, Marwick Heads. So we've got the Guildford Raptors at 154 against the Bonnyrigg Cheeseheads of 336.3. Our very own Carwick Porkers 226.49 against the Not Cold Knockouts 142. We've got the Bluetoon Texans 214 against the London Eagles 165. So their run of scoring 200 has well and truly disappeared over the last 2 weeks. The Dobos Darlow Diamonds 259 against the Birmingham Bears 249. That was a hell of a game. You got the Manchester Spinners 172 against the Darlington Dragons 182, but they get enough to win against that. The Norwich Mustard Men 176 against another Whipping Boys 167. The Lagers Lemons. So
that was unlucky for the Birmingham Bears there, and it's a massive, massive win for Dobos.
I think one's got Taylor and one's got 18.
I think we've got to have a look at this and see how this went down, So let's go down it slowly. So quarterback, there's where it's been won. The quarterback that's won, and that's so unlucky for Birmingham Bears because he's lost it in the quarterback position, and Dart obviously didn't play the last quarter and a half. You have to think of it the way he was going. If Dart had played that game out, he would have scored 10 more points quite comfortably. So
he was playing so well.
It really was. So yeah, that very unfortunate for the Birmingham Bears. But yeah, Matt Stafford 40 points. Absolutely flying. Devin Achan and Trevion Henderson, and a great start for him this week with Henderson there as well. So he's kind of went, JT, I scoff at your JT. You can stick your JT because I'll beat you in the max. And then, of course, losing Harrison there as well. Oh, no, he didn't lose Harrison. He didn't go out in the game, did he? He's just out this week. But yeah, so you can see it's a whole lot of greens when you see all the green numbers, and then when the red numbers pop up, they're kind of matching off. Well, he lost Wilson there. That was the one disappointment. But yeah, that was the Diamonds. Great win. What have we got in the bench? Would the benches have made any more differences? That's
Kamara. Mayfield was only 4 points different. So you're really.
You understand not playing Kamara the way he's been playing of late. It's he's just not. I dropped him and show me the money as well. Gave Bam Knight a role just to see what happened. But yeah, that's I fully understand Kamara being on the bench. However, I would imagine that he'll be back in next week.
Yeah, 1 point for the kicker didn't help either, to be honest. There's Lamb on a bye, Kelsey on a bye.
Yeah, Kelsey on the bye as well. So he's got a couple of players coming back. Spears on the bye. But yeah, missing Lamb and to still score 249 points. Record of 6-4. I don't think Jack will be losing any sleep at the moment. But, it's certainly going to be a very big week this week for him, just to bounce back from that loss and get himself to 7-4.
Yeah,
Because I imagine this division's quite tight as well if we go and have a wee look at how the division's sitting.
2 8-2s.
No, it's not as tight as I thought it was going. No, this one's quite open actually. Yeah, Darlington Dragons and our very own Kelly. I mean, he's flying this year. Hats off to him. He's doing really well this year. Up there at 8-2, and will absolutely have his eye on getting automatic promotion. Into Division 2, which is a big one to get into. So. But yeah, they're tight in behind. The Bonnyrigg Cheeseheads and the Norwich Mustard Men, they'll very much have their eyes on the top two in automatic promotion as well. Whereas Birmingham Bears and Darlow Diamonds, they're kind of looking over their shoulder and just trying to confirm their playoff place and their shot at promotion. Guildford Raptors and Knockhill Knockouts, they're chasing them down. And, it's 4 teams playing for, kind of two spots. The 6 and 4s could get above the 7 and 3s, but I'm not convinced the 5 and 5s can get above the 7 and 3s. That's the point, So that's how I'm kind of putting them in their own wee bracket. And then I think from 9th down, it's all about staying in the division, So getting into the consolations and making sure that you stay up and you don't go down, And I mean, the London Eagles even down there at 1 and 9, So there's, the regular season's over. They will be in the consolation playoffs, but they've been scoring a lot. They've been scoring a lot of points with. They've been scoring a lot of 200 plus games, So in the consolations, that's going to give you the wins that you require to stay in the division, So lot to play for in the season still. Same with Lagersville Lemons. It's all about just staying up now.
Definitely. Let's see who they've got this week then. Ooh, Cavite against the Bonnyrigg Cheeseheads.
Big game in the top there with Cavite Pokers and the Bonnyrigg Cheeseheads. It's Pork's there, but if they loses to the Bonnyrigg Cheesehead, the difference between automatic promotion and having to get through the playoffs to get there is huge. So big game for him there, and big game for Chris as well to try and overtake him, and get that spot over him.
He's the highest scoring team in the league against the lowest scoring team in the top 6. So, but then he might have got him at the right week looking at, but it's 220 to 206. Pretty close. Then you got the Bluetoon Texans against the Guildford Raptors. So the Raptors definitely don't want to lose that one. The Birmingham Bears are up against the Not Cold Knockouts, but I think the Birmingham Bears will be without Jonathan Taylor.
Yes, they will.
Yeah. But they're still looking strong, even with a 48-point start for Not Cold Knockouts. Manchester Spinners against the London Eagles, so that's just a game that doesn't matter for anybody. Well,
the thing about those two playing, see the thing about Manchester Spinners and London Eagles playing each other, it's a good thing from a neutral point of view. It's a good thing from our point of view, because it means that all those teams that are chasing the playoff spots are playing each other, because the two ones down the bottom are playing each other, so that means that the rest must be playing each other too. So it's a good thing for us. Afternoon, Danny, how are you?
I'll be a wee while before I get to your division. But yeah, that's the thing. Obviously, I've got at the moment, the Darlington Dragons are on a 7-game win streak. Bonnyrigg and the Norwich Mustard Men are on a 3-game. Obviously, the London Eagles are on a 9-game losing streak, and the Manchester Spinners are on a 6-game losing streak. So
the difference between the biggest losing streak and the second biggest biggest win streak and the second biggest win streak, that's massive difference, So yeah, Darlington Dragons are making their march to the second division with room to spare, that's for sure. And up against Lagersville Lemons this week, that's they're effectively going to be 9-2, and well, that's them there. Welcome to Division 2, Darlington Dragons.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Especially with their scoring. Obviously, Dobos are up against the Norwich Mustard Men.
And that's a massive game in itself for both teams, but for different reasons, you know, in the sense that Norwich Mustermen got to have their eye on that top two, you know, so be looking to win this game to get there. Darlow's Diamonds, they don't want to be dragged into the playoff hunt. They don't want to be looking over their shoulder. They win this and they're tied up with the Norwich Mustermen, maybe getting away from first and second, then get away a little bit, but they'll not care about that. They'll just be making sure to get their playoff spot first and foremost, you know.
Well, it's got its team set anyway, so it's going to be a good one. Obviously, it's got 38.
I mean, it started with starting with Henderson's always a great start, you know, and he's thrown the Michael Wilson dice there, Johnny, you know. So as I say, it's not a bad dice to throw in my eyes. It's certainly Brissett's looked like he's getting plenty enough yardage through the air, you know, and someone's got to catch him this week. It ain't going to be Harrison, so McBride obviously number one, but Wilson will be right there. You know, I appreciate rolling that dice this
week. And the 49ers defense is decimated, so
absolutely
they can throw the ball against them. So I know you are, Danny, but we'll get to that one at the time. Streak or streak? They're a losing streak. Is that your new address? 5 losing streak.
It's hard, you know, but that's the thing. It does get contagious. It's horrible, you know, once you start into that losing streak, and it's, you know, you can hit it with 230 points, but the other guy gets 238, and it just it seems to kick it off, you know, and you end up just going like that. And every week you get a wee bit worse, and you know, it's and before you know it, you've lost 5 in a row, and you're looking, going, how the hell did that just happen?
Yeah, well, that's in our home league. I lost the first 3, won the next 5, lost the last 2.
Yeah,
you know, lost by 5 last week.
But that's the thing as well, Danny. See when you snap that losing streak, you'll find that the next week you'll win the next week, and then you'll win the week after, you know, and then you'll think that you get. It's just the way this game goes. For some reason, it's you know, they come in groups. They don't come in one. They don't tend to come in ones. They come in groups.
I know. I've got to have a look at this, see if they've set their teams, because it's going to be a cracker, this one. I'll be keeping an eye on it.
Well, I mean, this is, as I say, this is a big game in terms of, you know, I always say getting from the 3rd division into the 2nd division is a major step forward. It's a major step up, you know. So it's a big one for both these teams, because the automatic promotion is in sight, you know.
Well, that's it. The main aim is just to stay up.
Well, that's my aim now as well, as we'll see when we get there. But yeah, I mean, McBride and Jackson. I mean, getting Lamar Jackson back's huge for Pork. You know, it can maybe drop the 500 quarterbacks he's got on his bench now. But getting him back's been good. You only get Prescott on the bench now. He has dropped some already. Well done, sir. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Bonnie like cheeseheads as well. Jamie McCarthy's actually looked, you know, without going mental, he's looked capable enough, you know, and he's got a lot of learning still to do. So plenty of room for manoeuvre there, and got to play him with Jones out, you know. And is Brock going to be back? Is Brock playing?
Well, he's not got a questionable next time, so he must be playing. What's it saying?
And he's got Barkley on his bench here as well.
He will start. Brock is playing.
He's going to start. So then he'll probably end up putting Brock in over JJ, I'd imagine. He'll put in, but he's surely got to put Barkley in the team. Yeah. You know, that's not going to be someone who's sitting on the bench. So yeah, it's going to be a close game. I mean, he's got Cook and McCaffrey there with Barkley too. That's a great running back room for Chris.
Scary one.
The winner will make himself favourite.
Team in the 11th division.
Yeah, as I say, the winners should make themselves kind of favourites for automatic promotion, and I wish them both well.
Yeah, because it is a tough one, because obviously those two there, Darlington Dragons should win their one against the Whipping Boys.
Yeah, so Darlington Dragons. I'm kind of putting Darlington Dragons in the playoffs already. I've got in the 2nd division already. I've got to say. I mean, I know he's got to see it out and he's got to get it over the line. But it's a 9-game win streak, for goodness sake, and he's playing a 2-8 team this week. So that 9 wins with 3 games to go. I just don't see that. I don't see that not being in the top 2. You know, it's Bonnie Rig Cheeseheads, Norwich Mustard Men would both need to get on they would need to win 3 out of the last 4 in order to beat in 9 games. So yeah, I like the Dragons' chances.
If the Norwich Muscle men do win and wanted to beat Cavite will be down to 4th because of the points scored.
It's a big jump, isn't it?
And Birmingham
it's a big jump. So yeah, that
could be 1 game behind them, so they could end up down at. Yeah, they're going to have a bit of a scary. They should be okay because they're 3 ahead, but there's no way they're going to lose all 4. So
I mean they're 3 ahead before they play. Yeah,
there should be.
There's no way. I can't imagine any of the 5-5 teams, any of the 5-5 teams winning all 4 games in the run-in. They're going to lose one along the way. I mean, Guildford Raptors are up against Bluetown Texans at 3-7, so you have to think that they're looking at that, thinking we need to win that game. They said they absolutely have to win that game. Not started well though, by the looks of it. With the projections.
Yeah, but Bluetown are playing Pacheco.
Yeah, I mean, Pacheco's meant to be back this week, I believe, so he should be playing. But who did he get his 9 points from?
The kicker.
Who did he get his 9 points from?
Borrego.
Oh, he got the Patriots kicker. That's a pass. That's par. That's par for the course. 9 points from the kicker. That's fine. So I mean, yeah, but he's got to win this week. It's and the same with knockouts. They've got to win if they'll get any chances of getting in. They need to win this week and keep themselves in touch. Especially knockouts playing against one of the 6 and 4 teams of Birmingham Bears. That's massive for them.
Definitely. So good luck, everybody. I hope Port does get through because he sort of scored last year because he got relegated, but because of people dropping out, he got back into doing it.
So, and
he's taken full force of it. And he did have a good draft this year.
It's the way it happens all the time, It's you see the lucky loser on tennis often, running through and getting all the way to the semis and the finals and tournaments and stuff. So yeah, absolutely. You take what you're given and you try and take advantage of it. And Kelly's doing exactly that this year because he's been flying and he's still up there and he's got a very good shout at winning automatic promotion. But as I say, it's a big week this week. He's got to win this week.
And if he doesn't, he could put down the fact that he lost to his mate rather badly.
I can't imagine that was deliberate.
I hope not. But yeah, because that'd be a bit of a sore one. But yeah, they're doing absolutely amazing, which is better than what I'm doing, better what you're doing. So we'll go on to Maze House, Division 2. So we've got the Whitchurch Warriors, 167 against the Southampton Dockers, 202. Sandbach Satans, 230 against 167. For Derek. The Kilmarnock Kings, the Nottingham Rebels, 214.5 against the Turbo Titans, 204. Birmingham Master Chiefs, 188 against the Whitford Educators, 71.11. Lancashire Bombers, 182.17 against the Chester Hurricanes, 177. The Royal Raiders, 221. So a good win there against the Dreif, the Glasgow Lighters, 206.49. I can tell you in advance.
But poor Dreif over 200 points and losing. Very good win for Aaron. No, he's right up there. Everett there as well, losing by 200. But yeah, good win for Aaron, 221 points. Gibbs finally showed, Gibbs has been kind of funny this year, hasn't he? In the sense that he's not quite knocked out of the park week in, week out. Certainly did this week though, and he's been probably the difference here. It's in fact it was big difference. Gadsden let them down a little bit there, but yeah,
Loveland looks like Gadsden left.
I mean, you have to think that between. I mean, I think he's day to day Gadsden, so I think that's good. If he's not back, he's not playing this week. He'll be back next week. But yeah, I mean, those kind of 3 players right there, they could make or break Aaron's season now. Gadsden, Judkins, and Loveland. It's time for the rookies take a little bit of time to settle in. Your time is now to kick on and go for it. So I'm very much. They could really turn the season around, Aaron, and give him a right good push to get into the top division again. Poor Everett losing me to over 200 points as well, going to 6 and 4, and it's letting the Nottingham Rebels catch them up as well. So that's that was kind of again, you're losing that.
Same as the last game they were talking about that. 10 points should be
10 points as well. You got to think if that's seen it out. But yeah, you're running into 64 points from Taylor. It's you're fighting a losing battle right off the get-go. You really need someone to respond in kind. He's also lost. So he's lost Ed. Excuse me, Dart and Wilson there to injury, and he's now lost Wilson to IR as well. So maybe it's starting to flip in the wrong direction for Everett a little bit. Yeah, I mean, Jones is the clear number one there in Minnesota now. He looks way better than Mason, and I think they will ride Jones to death the rest of this season. So that's one for him to put in. And
Shields might get lots of targets with the backup quarterback.
Davis Mills, but he done well last week, Mills, and he's running out again this week, so that's not a problem. Southampton Dockers flying. Let's have a. We'll come back to Derek's game in a minute. We'll go and have a wee. And of course, that's Martin and Derek as well, isn't it? Was that Martin and Derek?
No, Martin's in Division 2 of the East.
So so it was. That's Southampton Dockers are very much in the first division as well. You can say congratulations to Southampton Dockers and
best record in the division.
Good luck in Division 1 next year, because they are 3 games ahead of third place. So you can't imagine that they're getting caught for that. Sandbach Satans have got a 2-game lead over third as well now, so they're looking good to get that automatic spot. But certainly, if any one of the two are going to be caught, you would think it would be them. Nottingham Rebels, Turbanville Titans, Royal Raiders, 6-4, but 5-5, and then Glasgow. So this one's really opened up. But this is wide open now, Johnny. In the sense, not wide open. Sorry, it's split. We've got a kind of 50-50 split, and the Glasgow Lightning, Lancashire Bombers, Chester Hurricanes. They're even Kilmarnock Kings, Derek's Kilmarnock Kings, and the Birmingham Master Chiefs. They're kind of looking at 6 spot and 6 spot only now, and thinking we need the Whitworth Educators to be losing to give ourselves a run.
Well, Whitworth Educators didn't set their team last week. That's how they ended up with 71 points. So, and they didn't really set their team. No, they didn't do it in any other leagues for either. They were something happened last week, I'm guessing. They didn't
it's
look at the score, 1,700.
It's cost them quite heavily, you have to say, because at 5-5, they're really looking over their shoulders now. And I'd say that kind of Royal Raiders, Turnbull Titans, Nottingham Rebels, they're 1 win away from securing their spot. If they can keep ahead of the 4 and 6s by 2, well, next couple of weeks, then they're in. So this division's starting to look like a game of 2 halves type thing, a top half and a bottom half. And the bottom half will still be so much to play for as well, though, because they've got
promotion.
They've got the relegation to think of, and they've got to try and stay in it, which, Derek's Kilmarnock Kings as well. The last thing he'll want to do is be relegated, so he'll be looking to try and find something to kick into the consolation playoffs,
I think as he's scoring the points, he's got 1,977 points, which is more than quite a few in the league, actually. It's more than Everett, it's more than Royal Raiders, it's more than Whitford Educators, it's more than Lancashire Bombers, it's more than Chester Hurricanes. So they've got the points, they've just come up against over 2,000.
It's the way the cookie crumbles in this game, It's it doesn't matter how many points you score. You just need to beat the guy that's playing in the other. You just need to beat the other team in any given week, and that's what I love about this game. It's it brings that kind of level of living the now. You have to win this week. Forget about the overall. You have to win now. It's win now. The win now mentality. Because
a 5-game losing
it doesn't matter how many points you score if you're 3-7. It doesn't matter how many points you've scored. So I mean, it's just the way the fantasy NFL works, and it's what I love about it, to be honest with you. But the thing about the teams down the bottom there as well, they can still have a big say in kind of how the top half shapes out.
Definitely.
They because
if
they get the win against the teams above them, and with 4 weeks to go, things can tighten up a little bit towards the end, But it looks like for this division, it very much looks like it's going to tighten up for just one spot, if anything, the 6th spot.
Definitely. Well, obviously you've got an 8-2 against a 9-1. Sandbach Satans again, Southampton Dockers, so that's a juicy tie. Not for standing wise, it's still a juicy tie.
Oh, it's very true, and it's like right up there. If the Sandbag Satans do, that looks like they're favourites to get the win, and it's a good start, 38 against 36. So they certainly there was action last night. But if the Sandbag Satans can get that win, the two of them are sitting there at 9-2. You have to think that that's going to be the two promoted teams this year. And if Southampton Dockers manage to get the win, then Sandbag Satans, they are then looking over their shoulders at the 6 and 4s, because you got to think that at least one of the 6 and 4s will win.
I think Sandbag Satans are the highest scoring team in the whole division, the whole OrkneyBowl, so it does help. Obviously, got the bit of Warriors against the Nottingham Rebels, so you'd imagine, projection-wise, it's going to be close, but they might not set the team. Kilmarnock Kings, 3-7 against the Birmingham Master Chiefs. You really need Derek to win this one to have any chance. Oh, any given Sunday expression, I believe you're looking for. You said that in the last podcast, or the last.
Well, with Kilmarnock Kings, it's very much. With Kilmarnock Kings, it's very much the 2, 3, and 7 teams. The difference between getting that bye in the consolation playoffs and only having to win one game is massive. So they'll definitely be looking to get a win there and get themselves up to give themselves a chance of getting the bye in the week 1 in the playoffs. So a big game for both of those teams as well.
Then you got a 4-6 against a 6 and 4, the Lancashire Bombers and Turbo Titans. A 4-6 against a 5 and 5, the Glasgow Lightning against the Whitford Educators. Then a 4-6, 6 and 4, Chester Hurricanes against the Royal Raiders. So obviously, you'd imagine Derek will want the 6 and 4 teams to win to keep them.
I mean, it knocks it. But definitely, because it really does. I mean, what Derek's looking for is for this league to separate in two now, have a top half and a bottom half, because it will mean that the bottom half is close. If the 6 and 4s, if Turnbull Titans and Royal Raiders both win this week, then it puts the nail in the coffin for the Lancashire Bombers and the Chester Hurricanes. They're gone, bye bye. You're looking at the consolations now. And in the middle there, the Glasgow Lightning. If Whitworth Educators were to find the win against Glasgow Lightning, that there goes the split. It's 2 games between 6th and 7th, with three weeks to go. So that would be the split complete. So it's a big. Those 3 games down the bottom are really, really massive in terms of keeping yourself in the hunt and keeping yourself there.
And they're all projected to be, apart from the Whitford Educated, they're all projected to be pretty close. So yeah, keeping an eye on this one. Even that one's projected to be close, but they might not have set their teams. But I am looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it's a big game. It's Henderson's off to a great. Henderson gives you an absolutely fantastic start. Hall not so much, I would say. You'll be disappointed with the Hall, and but Stefan Diggs has done very well. So it's kind of 50-50 start there.
And there's no kicker for Ramstad, so they're not picking up either. What the hell did they do? Did they got a kicker on the bench?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
They've got Mevis.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure at 9-1 that if they don't have a kicker, they'll have a kicker before the end of the game. Before the games kick off. Sorry, they'll have one. 9-1, you're not playing.
No, definitely not. But so it's another good close league there. So go on to the top division here. So there's another cracking game here. So Happy Valley, you've got the South London Rebels, 221. This is the highest score. I think Melbourne Supremacy, 277.44 to go 9-1.
Yeah, big score.
Border Regis Balkans, 170 points against the Kirkwall Raiders, 152. Purple Cowboys have fallen flat a lot recently. 152.87 against the Dickensies Demons, 207. Belfast Benchwarmers, 172.3 against the Yale Villains, 144. You got the Portland Lumberjacks, 191.89 against the Gothenburg Angels. This next one's going to be close. 228 against 238. Double Destroyers losing their 4th game in a row, I think, against the Cruise Juggernauts, going 4-6. So defending champions are a bit of a skid.
Yeah, they're certainly. Let's have a wee look at the division. It's certainly they're getting dragged into the
mire.
craziness of the race for the playoffs, you know. So Melbourne supremacy, yeah, they can very much say with conviction they will have a bye. You know, three up before to play for the top two, so they'll have a bye in the first round of the playoffs. Because of course it's not about promotion here; it's about being the West's representative for the overall OrkneyBowl trophy. You know, so Melbourne supremacy are looking very good for a bye, but then it's any given Sunday, the last two, you know, and it's very much. You know, come and get me is what they're saying. Who can beat me in one of those weeks? South London Rebels are looking pretty good at 7-3, and then Darlow Destroyers, like you say, on a wee losing streak now and starting to look over their shoulders. You know, at the start it looked like they were going to run away with it again and be and win the Western Conference 2 years in a row. But yeah, they've kind of hit the skids a little bit the last few weeks, and they'll be looking to turn that around before the playoffs kick in. Kirkwall Cowboys there at 64 doing just fine, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of 5-5s in behind them, Johnny. You know, so it's right down to 8. So very much nobody's there yet.
Ian, you're the next division. You haven't missed it yet, and I know you're looking forward to it.
So yeah, Darlow Destroyers are definitely looking over their shoulders now and needing to stop that losing streak. But yeah, the 5-5s, they're right down to Dickens Heath Demons. They're right there, and of course two of them are holding the playoff spots. So that gives Crew Juggernauts a great win against Darlow Destroyers this week, and it gives them hope that they can get themselves into sixth spot yet. And even, you know, Gothenburg Angels, at the end of the day, if they can win 4 in a row from here, they've got a sniff. You know, it might not be enough, but it might be. So your villains are in that same boat as well. And if not, they certainly, you know, no one wants relegated out of top division, you know, so that's got to be in their minds as well. And if you're not going to make the playoffs, at least win a couple of the last games and try and get yourself that bye in the first round of the consolation playoffs. So you only need to win one game to stay up.
Let's see who's got who then. So yeah, the Melbourne Supremacy are up against the Bognor Regis Falcons, so that could put a scupper in Bognor Regis Falcons trying to stay in the top half. The South London Rebels are up against the Dickens Heath Demons. That could cement their place near the top. Belfast Benchwarmers, they were up against Poor Allen and the Kirkwall Raiders, but it looks like it's going to be a close one. You've got the Kirkwall Cowboys against the Gothenburg Angels. So say Ross will look at to cement himself up the top there as well. And the Darlow Destroyer looking to bounce back against the EU Villains. So it's a pretty good one to get when you're looking for a bounce back and stopping the rot. They're starting 23 points last night. The Crew Juggernauts are up against the Portland Lumberjacks. So obviously McGonagall will be wanting to put a nail in the Crew Juggernauts and get themselves 2-game lead over them as well. So there's not really.
Obviously, the Darlow Destroyers there that they lost that team with 3 wins last week, so I don't know if that's an omen or not, but certainly it's a good game to get to try and snap that losing streak. And you know, Kirkwall Cowboys at 6-4 playing against a 3-7 team have to be happy with that. Belfast Benchwarmers playing against a 2-8, you got to be happy with that. You know, these are all teams that need to win and, you know, are very much favourites. Portland Lumberjacks here as well, you know, at 5-5. You wouldn't want to be playing in, you know, a 9-1 or an 8-2. You'll take the 4-6 all day long because with how tight this is, all the way down to 8th at 5-5. Winning's essential at this point. There's 4 weeks to go. You have to get the wins on the board. You don't want to be chasing. Now, you want to be holding the spot.
Yeah. Like you say, talk about the 5-5 playing against a 9-1. Your Bognor Regis Falcons have got that, don't?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, you know.
Demons are up against the South London.
The 7-3, you know, so it's just, you know, that it's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess, you know. It's how fixtures are brought around, and
that's sitting 7-8 at the moment. So
there's huge games for them though, because they, you know, if they do lose them, which is, you know, their kind of favourite to do. It just puts them back in the mire, you know. It puts them that wee bit further away. You start to lose the faith at that point, you know, with just 3 weeks to go. So it'll be interesting to see how they go, and if one of them can manage to find the win somehow, and that that's the difference as well. Sometimes if one of those two teams do manage to find a win, it re-energizes you. It's like, yeah, no, I'm in this. Look, I've just beat the top one, and it might get them into the playoff spots. Now it's like, I've got a playoff spot now. There's only 3 weeks. You get that energy from winning a game like that. So it might be a great thing that they're running into these teams at this point, but only if they get the win.
Yeah, so good luck, guys. So we'll go on to East Conference, Division 4, your division, Ian. So this one here is the tightest division in the whole of the OrkneyBowl. You'll find out in a second. So we've got the Workshop of Rookies, 250 points against the Portsmouth Pirates, 220 points. The Port Preston Mooney Tunes on the win again, 192.32 against Poor Arthur, 163.20. You've got the Laxdale Legends, 137 against the previously 2-7 Box Golders, 191. So well done, Gary. Edinburgh Thunderbirds, 139 against the Nairn Knights, 176. You've got the Lee Vikings, 199 against 0.29 against 199.95. The Bedford Brewskis, so that's 0.7 points in it. Then you've got the Preston Hawks, 192 against the Chicago Scorpions, 180 points. So the leader of the division has 6. Second has 6, 3 has 6, 4 has 6, 5 has 5, 6 has 5, 7 has 5, 8 has 5, 9 has 5, 10 has 4, 11 has 4, and 12 has 3. So the three games between top and bottom.
I mean, Gary's blown the division wide open with that one, hasn't he? Really, that's really put the cat amongst the pigeons, and nobody's dead here. This is his
mental
title in the nuns. So it's everything to play for. The 64s, Workshop Workhorses, Chicago Scorpions, and Plymouth Argyle Browns, Laxdale Legends. They're looking over their shoulders. First place is looking over their shoulders. The team that's sitting in 10th right now could get automatic promotion.
Yeah. And so, the Workshop Workhorses are the only one in the top 4 at 1. The other 3 all lost this week. So.
I mean, that's very evident from how the division looks, So yeah, this is absolutely wide open. Everyone's got everything to play for, and every game is now very crucial. At this stage, if you go 3-1 from here on in, you're making the playoffs. I include Gary in that situation. If you go if Gary goes 3-1, I think he'll make it. I think 6-8 will be enough here.
I know that Gary result and Pez as well, because obviously Pez beat the Chicago Scorpions.
Yeah, and it was a big win for Ian and his Preston Mooney Tunes as well. That was a huge win there as well to get himself up and just keep yourself in it. 192 points though, not to be sneezed at either. But yeah, that's a harsh one for Lee Vikings to take. At 5. What does the bench look like? More to the point, I mean, McNichols has been played, so what sits on the bench? What sits on the bench? You ask. Yeah, no running backs there to play for. I mean, K Dotton, I can understand. I could very much understand you playing K Dotton, but I can very much also understand you having him on the bench. He's not all that. He has big weeks. He has bad weeks. The fact that they've got no one to throw to, I would have been inclined to play K Dotton over John O'Smith this week, but
you only got 3 points for Lutz because you missed a field goal. So there you go.
Yeah, missed the field goal. And it wasn't a long one either, if I recall. It wasn't.
No, I don't think it was. No,
it wasn't, because I sat up and watched that film fest, so I did. But no, it wasn't a long one. So yeah, that's disappointing, and it's made a big difference for Lee Vikings because at 6-4, obviously you do have that wee bit of a cushion, especially in a division like this. Absolutely, every win counts, and to lose by less than a point is pretty hard to take.
I think, like you say, good win by Ian, 992 points, nearly at the 200, but enough to win, and that's 3 wins in a row for him to get up to 4 and 6.
I mean, he ran into Batchett. ran into Batch in a good week, obviously, with Batch only getting 167, but it's a great win for him again. As I keep, you only have to beat the person that's across from you, and despite the just a point from the kicker and the defense not knocking out the
Well,
park,
look
but
at Batch.
he's done it without a lot of players there. Batch has lost,
Jesus.
missing Worthy, missing Chase, missing Pickens, missing Purdy, missing Irvin. So right time to be playing him, and obviously the score indicated that with only 160 points. But yeah, it keeps Ian right in the chase. He's right in it. He's got options there on the bench. So this whole division's wide open, Johnny. It's no one's out of it, like we say. So, and obviously that's what you want in Division 4 as well, because there's no relegation. Everyone's still involved with 4 weeks to go. That's massive in the league with no relegation.
Definitely. So poor Arthur is up against the workshop. Also got the workshop workhorses, and not great. He's got a 23 point, but not a great start protection wise. Oh, Groovy, 50 points last night up against the Portsmouth Pirates. Then you've got the Nairn Knights up against the Mooney Tunes, 17 points last night, so not bad. The Laxio Legends up against the Bedford Brewskis, so that could really put a thing in the mix with 5-5 against 6-4. Edinburgh Thunderbirds are up against Pez, 4-6. Then you've got the Lee Vikings up against Chicago Scorpions, looking to bounce back from last week's shock. A 24-point start over the Lee Vikings, who were unlucky last week. But look, their bench is looking pretty good, so I would quite fancy that should be another close game. So, what's your top game here?
I mean, I would say that for Pez, for Ian, and for Gary, if they lose now, no, don't be silly, Claire. I'll see you later. If with the 3 of them, I think if they lose now, it's kind of curtains. It's you need to be winning this week. It's a big week for them. For all the rest of them, I mean, every win, as I say, is a big win. But if they lose, they're not completely out of it yet. They've still got a good chance, over the last 3 weeks. So I would say those 3 teams are the ones that really must win in order to kind of stay in it type thing. So it'll be interesting to see how those 3 got on. And the 6 and 4s, even if they win, it's not guaranteeing anything. Not in week 11 with a league this tight.
No, it's get you a bit of a squeakier bum thing. You want the wins now. The other leagues you can get away with 6 4 but here you need to win and put the nail on the coffin.
When it's like this, you got to win every game. It's like if you're 9-1, you don't care this week if you win or lose. You're looking towards playoffs at that point. If you're 8-2 at the moment, you're no that you can have a loss and it doesn't matter. In a division like this, where the top 6 and 4, it's even the 6 and 4s, they'll be looking for those wins, get 2 more wins as soon as humanly possible and go over the line.
Yeah, starting on 5 is not the best.
It's a hell of a comeback. It's a hell of a comeback from 1-5, Ian. It has to be said, Jen. To get back to 4 and 6 is massive, and it shows that you're going in the your team's in form and going in the right direction as well. So hitting form at the right time is always is never a bad thing in this game.
I know. So that's Division 4. So we'll go on to Division 3. Sorry, Craig. You've got the Orkney Orcas, 204 points against the Edinburgh Packers, 182.
Look, I'm bloody here.
It was closer than that, so it was a good game. Hotshot 165 against the Borden Bears, 161. Kirkwall Chargers, 207 against the Aberdeen Bucks, 241. The Blackfoot Panthers, 158 against the Newcastle Buccaneers, 179. Then you've got 179 Glossop Fighting Gophers against the Top-Head Niners, 189. And you've got the Rotherham Raiders, 181 against the Preston Panthers, 227. So
so this is another league that's kind of opening, starting to get a little bit of a divide down there. It's there is a game difference between 6th and 7th now. With 6 and 4 and 5 and 5, but it's only 7th that's 5 and 5, and then you've got the hot dogs, the Glossop Fighting Gophers. They're at 4 and 6, 2 games behind, 4 games to go. It's kind of a long way from there, And the rest of it, Bankfoot Panthers, Rotherham Raiders, and myself, we are absolutely, it's all about staying in the division now. The thing is, the fact that kind of, you are getting that wee bit of a breakaway now, it does mean 8th place gets you the bye in the first round of the consolation playoffs, and 8th place is 4 and 6. So that's kind of what I've got my eye on now. It's all I've got to play for, and I'm sure that Fraser and his Bankfoot Panthers and Rotherham Raiders are both thinking that same way. That's still kind of achievable. So let's go for that. And the top lot, it's very tight in terms of who's going to get the automatic promotion spots. It's with 7, 3, 6, and 4s. It's very tight there. So wins are very important there as well. Yeah, I overthought it, Johnny. I overthought it. Bryce Young there. On Sunday, I transferred out Trevor Lawrence and brought in Bryce Young, trying to be a wee bit smart and trying to kind of play the matchup game, with him playing New Orleans Saints, and he done absolutely nothing for me. I mean, I don't think Trevor Lawrence would have made a difference. I don't think he would have scored enough anyway. But yeah, I went a wee bit too big in the Panthers, and they lost to the bloody Saints. So that was the death of me in this game, and yeah, it's put the final nail in the coffin for sure.
Yeah.
Despite a lot of your guys underperforming as well, you done enough to get over the line and to get there.
I know, it wasn't pretty. I picked the right quarterback, which helped. But yeah, obviously,
I mean,
I'll be going to be back. We didn't. Pollard was on a bye. Yeah, they did well, but I didn't put them in, and I missed Aubrey. So yeah, it's good to have.
My team's too reliant on the likes of Lamb and stuff, so without him I wasn't getting there. But you talked to 200, Johnny. Stafford got you the a nice 40, and that helped you along the way. And it's it's put you back up to 7 and 3. It's put you back to the top of the division, and you got to be looking to what the way it is. It's you've got two game head start with 4 to play on 7, so you're at least in the playoffs, but you've got to be looking for automatic promotion now. That's got to be your aim, the same as it's got to be the aim of the other 7 and 3s, so Kirkwall Chargers and Preston Panthers, and even the 6 and 4s, they're only one game behind it, so it's all tight. The top half of the division is very tight in sense of right down to 6th place, everyone's in it for automatic promotion. But
Bodden Bears are a high scoring team as well, so it's like they're not. Yeah, I think I'm playing them this week.
I mean, if they win 4, but Bodden Bears have got to win 4 in a row to have any chance of certainly getting top 2. But yeah, I would say the Bodden Bears. I mean, if they get 3 and 1, if they go 3 and 1, they might make the playoffs. But for an auto promotion, they would need to go 4 and 4, and they would also need others to tap out a little bit, And
well, they've lost 3 in a row, so it's a sore one. So. But yeah, any other ones what to look at?
Let's see who's playing who this week, so we can see because it's the Aberdeen Bucks. That was a big win for them, so if they can keep that run going, and they're up against the Newcastle Buccaneers this week. So 2, 6, and 4 teams again. They knocked off the 7-3 Chargers last week, so if they can win against the Newcastle Buccaneers this week and they've beat those 2 teams in the last 2 weeks, that's got to give Stevie a whole lot of confidence with 3 weeks to go. You would think that would kind of secure a playoff spot at least, and give him a good shout at getting top 2 in a lot of form.
Yeah, I was hoping Bucky was going to be back this week, but he was seen it walk through on Wednesday, so hopefully next week he'll be back. But some Bucky-less and Wilson-less this week, so I'm up against the Bodden Bears.
It's a big game as well, Johnny, because you could put the final nail. You could kill off Bodden Bears completely and really have that the top 6 secured if you win that game. So I think the likes of the Aberdeen Bucks, Doug, the Newcastle Buccaneers, they'll all be cheering you on this week.
Yeah, and obviously the Chargers, they could obviously help you by beating the Hot Sauce if you want to buy. You're up against the Gossip Bite and Gopher, so that's in your own hands there. It should be a close game. Preston Panthers are up against the Backfoot Panthers, will also help you in your push to get the bye. And the top 9 is up against the Rotherham Raiders. So yeah, basically a bye week for Doug to get to 7 wins would be a nice one for him.
Yeah, I mean, Doug's looking good for the playoffs now as well, and that's always dangerous. That's what Doug's like. He gets a wee sniff of it, and it's all of a sudden that one takes. So when he's up there, it gets all of his attention. When he's not in it, he tends to ignore it a little bit and concentrate on the ones that he is up there, and rightly so. When you're in as many leagues, I get it. I do the same thing. So but he's this one will be starting to get more and more of his attention now. You know, he's crawling
Especially
up
after
there,
the home
and
league,
he's right there.
Yeah. Well,
Big,
he's on a
big
3-game
week.
win streak, so
Yeah, big week from this week as well. And you know, it's at the end of the day, you're right, and it's, you know, I want those 4 and 6s to lose, and I want to, you know, kind of get after them. You know, I've got Lamb back this week, which will help me no end. But this is another division that's opened up quite a bit, and it's all about kind of the top 6 look almost set. They certainly, the top 6 will be set if you can beat the bottom Bears. So yeah, it's all about playoff positions now and automatic promotion in that sense. And of course, down at my end, it's all about staying in the division and not dropping to the bottom.
So yeah, so we've got the Yesnavy Division 2. So you've got their Carrier Red Rose 149 against the Warner's Bay Goonies 198. So good one there. EK Colts 267 against the Yorkshire Finns 218. The Darlington Rams 231 against the Leeds Lepers, now 0-10, 176-20. The Ancoats Citizens 186 against the Newcastle Masters 144. New Mexico Chupacabras 194 against the Solihull Sharks 186. And the Auckland Warriors 179 against the very own Martin 193.82. So it's a good win for Martin to go 7-3. So obviously we've got the Ancoats Citizens at the top 8-2. You've got 2 7-3s, AK Colts and Soren Flyers, and you've got 3 6-4s, Waterloo Warriors, Darlington Rams, and the New Balfour Masters. Then a couple of 5-5s, Yorkshire Finns against the Warner's Gate Goonies. Solihull Sharks at 4-6, and then you've got the Arcadia and Newcastle. New Mexico Chupacabras at 3-7, and the Leeds Lepers at 0-10.
Oh, it just doesn't look right, does it? You really want them to get rid of it. I support the Leeds Leopards and all their efforts to get rid of that. Oh, I have to say. But yeah, the top end, you know, the Ancoats Citizens can start thinking about, certainly thinking about the playoffs going after the divisional title. But you know, they're kind of a couple of wins away from auto promotion up into Division 1 as well. EK Colts and Soren Flyers. I mean, if Martin can get the double promotion, that would be some going, you know, to go up and up again. Looking very good to do so as well, sitting there at 7-3. But those 6-4s are going to be looking over their shoulders. Certainly at Yorkshire Finns and Warner Bay Goonies at 5-5. Lots to play for around there, you know. I mean, to be, you know, the Waterloo Warriors, Darlington Rams, New Balfour Marshals, they might not make the playoffs and they might get automatic promotion. They are in that rate. That's the range that they're sitting in, you know. So it's, you know, EK Colts and Soren Flyers there, even if they kind of go on a wee bit of a losing streak now, if they get 1 win out of 3, 1 win out of 4, that should be enough to get them in the playoffs, whereas it won't be enough for the other 3, you know, so they could still get auto promotion. They're only 1 game behind that. They could also miss the playoffs still. So big games coming up for those ones as well. And you have to think that if you're sitting at 6-4 now, you would really like to finish 3-1 and keep that ratio kind of ticking over, you know, and finish 3-1.
Or even just get the next 2 wins to give yourself a bit of breathing space that you'll maybe need one more. So who's playing who this week then? There you go. You got a 5-5 against a 5-5. The Warner Bay Goonies against the Yorkshire Finns. You got the Darlington Rams up against.
Yeah, that's a lose and go home. Warner Bay Goonies and Yorkshire Finns is a lose and go home effort. That's I love those types of games at this stage of the season. I have to say that they're very interesting.
Then you got the Darlington Rams up against the Arcadia Red Rose. You'd imagine hopefully Darlington Rams will get up to number 7. You got the New Balfour Masters against the EK Colts, 6-4 against 7-3. Leeds Lepers up against New Mexico Chupacabras. So yeah,
we'll
have a wee look and see that team in a minute, see who's set it. Then you've got the Ancoats Citizens against the Soren Flyers. So obviously it's a big one as well. That could be a high scoring flag game. Then you've got the Waterloo Warriors over to put the nail in the coffin for the Solihull Sharks at 4-6. So as Leeds set their team, we've got Williams, Altier, Vidal, Moore. We've still got Harrison.
Still got Harrison, and that's relatively new information.
So, and Gary Wilson now an IR. So
yeah, I mean AJ Brown's just been such a you can see their fly, you know. It's you know, Harrison's not done overly much. He's got Jones to bring in, he's got Higgins to bring in. you know,
And
they're very playable.
If he gets Sosa in the hit, then he could get his first win.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got probably best chance.
If he does his team, fixes his team. I mean, the thing is, you're still got to play for. I mean, obviously, he's not going to get the buy in the consolations, but you got to be looking to stay in the division. You know, you're one step away from the top division and a shot at the whole shebang. So you don't want to go down cheaply. You know, you don't want to chuck it away. So I would very much still be paying attention if I was Matty. Maybe not over the next couple of weeks per se. But from week 15 onwards, you know, it's massive for him. It's massive for them all. Big game for Martin as well. You know, if he loses this one, he might be just looking over his shoulder a little bit. Winning it can kind of confirm his place in the playoffs, you know, and he can start thinking about the top two in auto promotion. So big game there. And New Bars and Masters and EK Colts here as well, 7-3, 6-4. Huge, you know, as I say, EK Colts get the win and they're definitely going to be in the playoffs at that point. If New Bars and Masters can get the win, then it kind of keeps them, gives them momentum for chasing a top two. So some huge games kicking around there. And of course, Darlington Rams, Sam will be delighted that he's running into a 3-7 this week, you know, while others are going to be beating each other up, you know, others around them are going to all be beating each other up. So yeah, big week for Sam as well. Because again, though, as much as I said before, you know, and it is like if Martin can find a win against the 8-2 Ancoat Citizens, it's not just a win; it's the confidence that brings. It's the, you know, it re-energizes you to kick you on because you've beat that team above you and you're now looking really good. But there's the flip side of that. There's the opposite side of that. If Sam was to go and lose this game, you know, he'd be delighted that he's playing a 3-7 team. But if he was to somehow lose this game, it just deflates you a little bit, you know. It's like, oh, I mean, that's a game I should have won, and there's only 3 weeks left to go, and I've lost it, and yeah, I'm still there, but that's you know, it kind of deflates you a little bit. Is it the flip side of that? So it is a big week in that sense for Sam. It's a game that he should win, but it's a game that he needs to win.
Well, I'm pretty sure that he started off really well, then he went for a slump, and he's on a 3-game win streak. I think he's like win 3, lose 6, win 3. So, win 3, lose 4, win 3. So he's on a run. But like I say, they get the win. New Barstow beats the Colts. Sorens beats the Ancoats. There's like 5 teams within 1 point, 1 game at the top. So then that gives you, it's crazy how close this is going to be at the top of the table as well. Bottom not so much, but I'd love to see Leeds Hyper sort their team. Sorry, Barnville, but win a game just before they get there, just to get that one. Because that's the longest losing streak is 10, remember, because Edinburgh Thunderbirds won their 11th game in the first year.
That's right.
So it'd be good to see Matty get that and not have the worst start in OrkneyBowl history.
Let's see how he gets on. Let's see how he gets on. He's certainly got a good chance. He's playing a 3-7, so he's got. If he's going to get that elusive win, it's, you know, this is as good a chance as any.
Definitely, and give you a bit of a booster before you might have to play them again in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's that, and you've got them. You know that you can beat them because you did do not so long ago. So yeah, it can make a big difference as well.
So we'll go on to the top division. This one's nice and juicy too. So you got Gadam and Goats 257 at 5-5 against the Whitford Rock Stars 203. The Dublin Everton Blues 169 up against the Seattle Patriots 197. The Harrow Harlequins 146, but they were up against the Manchester Bees, who were 186 and now 8-2. The Glasgow Eagles, I think for a while this was close, but they're 169 against 207. The Carlton Crew. The Sean Douglas, Newcastle Colts. I really wish he would change his team. 260 points against 135 points of Leicester Tigers, so 6-4, 5-5. Then the Leeds Flash was 196 against the Stockholm Bengals, 177. So nice little 3-game cushion, or 2-game cushion from third place. The Manchester Bees at 8-2, the Whitford Rockstars at 7-3, Newcastle Colts at 6-4, Seattle Patriots at 6-4. And you've got 3 teams at 5-5, Carlton Crew, Godalming Goats and Leicester Tigers. You've got 4 teams at 4-6, Leeds Lassos, Stockholm Bengals, Glasgow Eagles and Dublin Everton Blues. So Ken, Danny, you're only 1 game back from the playoffs.
That's it, and it's there's some
And Harrow
divisions at
Harlequin's
4
2
and
and 8.
6 as pretty much dead. There are some divisions at 4 and 6 is pretty much dead, but this is certainly not one of them. It's wide open here. Harlow Harlequins are the only ones that are out of it, and they're thinking about staying in the top division, but it's wide open for everyone else. They're only one game off 6th place, but they're also only one game off 5th place, and that's a big difference between it being 2 games in one game, 2 teams in one team that you're chasing. It just opens it up that wee bit more, and where the 6 and 4s and another side of that, the 6 and 4s, they might not, they're only one game ahead of 7th, they're only one game into the playoffs, so big weeks for them coming up as well.
Seattle Patriot 5 games ago were sitting at 1 and 4.
Yeah. So the 5-game win streak.
And you got to think, when you're coming to the last 3 games, you're playing the teams that you played for the first 3 weeks. So Danny's on a 5-game losing streak, but he obviously beat them already this season. So if he can do it again, if his play, like you say, if his players are coming back, they can easily get into the top half.
Well, absolutely. I mean,
Danny, don't look so down. You've still got a chance. Anything, like I say, any given Sunday. Or Monday, Friday.
It's one of those ones where at 4, all you just need to get into 6th. If they can get into 6th place and steal that last spot in the playoffs, it's any given Sunday. It's absolutely an operation. They could go on and win the whole entire. And that's the thing about the top division. You can be 4 and 6, sitting in 11th place in the division, sneak into 6th place over the last 4 weeks, and go on and win the whole thing.
Well, at 6th spot, you'll not get a chance to win the Scarra Brave, but you'll get a chance to win the division, which is the top 4, I think, go into the playoff.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. Of course. So that's right. So you need to get 4th place. That's right. Sorry.
But you can still, you can still win the division and win the helmet. You just won't win the actual OrkneyBowl. So it's a big.
Yeah. You can still win the division. But yeah, so I mean, there's still so much. Even at that, 4th is only 2 wins away. 4th is only 2 away.
Yeah, so
there will be teams who go on losing streaks that are up the top. So it's not beyond the realms. If Danny wins 4 in a row, it's not beyond the realms that he steals 4th place. So yeah, good chance. But let's see what he's got this week. Scoring 169 points doesn't really help him. That's that would be what I'm more worried about than Matchell 4-6 record in this division.
So you've got the Godalming Goats against Seattle Patriots. You've got the Whitford Rock Skulls against the Manchester Bees, so that's going to be a nice juicy one at the top. Double Everton Blues 4 and 6 against the Glasgow Eagles 4 and 6. So one of the highest, probably I think Glasgow Eagles are maybe the second highest scoring team in OrkneyBowl history against year 1 winner Double Everton Blues. You've got the Newcastle Colts up against 2 and 8 Harrow Harlequin. So bit of a projection's pretty close, but it should be
good time for Sean to get that game.
Yeah, and look at it. Carlton Crew got 96 points last night up against the League Lassos at 4 and 6, so that's a hell of a good start. And the Stockholm Bengals 12-point start over the Leicester Tigers at 4 and 6 against 5 and 5. So this could get really juicy if the 4 and 6s beat the 5 and 5s.
The 4 and 6s are on kind of must-win, are in must-win territory. They're all in the must-win territory. But with two of them playing each other and 2 of them playing 5 and 5s, yeah, this could get very interesting very quickly. And it's a good time for Sean to get onto 7 wins, and get away ahead a little bit. That will do him the world of good if he can get the win here and move on. And of course, playing against a 2 and 8, you've got to think he's heavy favourite to do so.
Yeah, he should. Yeah.
It's what's on his bench. It's more interesting. It says who's sitting on the bench. That shouldn't be.
He's got the Mercado against 49ers. He should have a good game.
I mean, that's what I would be playing myself. Personally, I would be playing DeMarcado. If I've got DeMarcado this week, I'm playing him because the Niners' defense is, like you say, it's decimated a bit. Yeah.
Watson against the Giants.
Brown, Judy, Watson, all options. I get why they're all sitting on the bench, but they're all options. So's Cup an option of sorts. So his squad's very strong there. And Sean's that type. You know what he's like. And if he's the same as Doug, if he just gets a sniff of it, he's chasing it down. You
can't get as many trades in this one.
I'm guessing that Henderson and May, and I'm guessing. Oh no, it's Diggs. He went very big on the old. New England Patriots. But yeah, you're almost 100 points already. It's a hell of a start, especially when you're 5-5 and kind of the win means a lot.
So I've got a question for you then.
It could have went the other way, Johnny. It could have went to pot. They could all scored next to nothing, and he's sitting here on Thursday already beat for the week. So good start for SX.
So I've got a question for you, because every time I hear this person's name when I'm watching the football, Bethune, I keep on thinking the commentator saying baboon. Because the way I say it totally sounds like baboon instead of Bethune.
I don't even know what I've got to say, but I'll listen out
for that. Bethune. A buffoon. I keep on thinking they call him a buffoon. Bethune. But when the commentator says it, it's like, his name's Buffoon. What the fuck? And just every time I hear it, all I think is saying buffoon. But it's buffoon. I had to look it up. But yeah, this is going to be a cracker though, because obviously.
This is. Let's go and look at the benches. Who's on the bench? It shouldn't be either side.
Not really anybody to look at.
I'm just looking up and down, and I'm seeing nobody. To be fair, so
maybe
both have certainly got their team set. Both are ready to rock and roll, and both have got what I would call the strong. Well, obviously,
I'd maybe play Ellis over David, but I could be wrong.
But outside of the kicker,
they're missing a kicker.
The team that he's got looked to go in. So this is going to be a close one. They're both set for the week. So winner goes home, and loser goes home, and winner has got a very good chance of making the playoffs. And keeps himself in with a sniff of that top 4 as well.
I know. Graham's picked up Loop, so that'll put him in. But I still think maybe Danny plays Kane Ellis, who's had a really good year over David, but because Campbell's been good for Detroit against Philly. But yeah, it's going to be a very close one. This guy would do right in the wire, because when's Philly playing Detroit? They're playing on Sunday.
When's Philly playing? They're playing Monday. Dallas are two. That's Sunday night, Monday morning. Dallas are the late one. Dallas are Monday Night Football.
Bowers against that Dallas defense. As long as you get more than one target for 31 yards, that could win the game.
It's a week for Genty as well, but they did strengthen it with Quinn and Williams. Remember that wasn't a bad pickup problem. That was he was a good player.
The problem
not so much the quarterback for Vegas. Not so much the Bengals, the Bengals guy that'd been dropped before he signed. That's not a good sign, because the Bengals isn't exactly a wonderful defense. But yeah, it's all very, everything's very close here. As I say, it'll be interesting to see how these 4 and 6 teams get on this week, because it could blow this league wide open, or it could kill it off completely if they all lose. So very interesting one to look at next week.
Definitely indeed. But yeah, there's some very close games due ahead. I'm going to be looking forward to. I do keep my eye on them throughout the week and the weekend. Because I like to keep an eye, see who's doing what.
And see what's happening.
So we've still got the Rousey Cup, so we'll go for the last 16. Not very many close games in this one. This is the end of the
second leg now.
Yeah, this is the end of the second leg. I'm trying to find remember not on the scores. Yeah, so you've got the Bonnie Cheesehead got 462 points against the Bangham Start 356. The Newcastle Scots got 444 against 375 for the Nottingham Rebels. The Portland Lumberjacks got 362, but they're up against the Aberdeen Bucks 436. You've got the Kilmarnock Kings, so Derek got through 355 against the Edinburgh Thunderbirds 298. Darlington Dragons 394 against 354. Plymouth Argyle Browns. Portsmouth Pirates got 346, but the Ancoats Citizens got 371. Arcadia Red Wolves, who are not doing great in the league, but 398, but they came up against the Kirkwall Chargers 412. And the top the division challenges, Whitford Broadscars 405 against year 1 winners South London Rebels 469. So I'm going to catch my breath now. So the lineup is the Ancoats Citizens, who top of their division against number 2 in the Happy Valley South London Rebels. Darlington Dragons up against the Bonnyrigg Cheeseheads, the Marwick Head all-purpose game. Kirkwall Chargers against the Aberdeen Bucks, both from Queen Hill against, and the Newcastle Colts against poor Derek. They're up against Sean and the other one. So the one thing I can do, because I know the next round, there's going to be a third division team in the final again.
Right,
because the winner of match 2 plays the winner of match 3, and the winner of match 1 plays the winner of match 4. So last year we had a 4th division team in the final. This year we're guaranteed a 3rd division team in the final. So this is how open the Rousey Cup is. So it's quite smart.
I mean, it's who you come up against. And I mean, you look at Derek at 3-7 in his league, but he's in the quarterfinals, so he's got, that makes his team essential to fix now, week in, week out, because you're two wins away from the final and a shot at a chance at romance and all that, So yeah, but big week. It's big week for all 8 of these teams now. This is when I'll start to look at this and say, right, okay, I've got a chance of winning this. Let's have a look. This is when I'm asking you for access to the team's league who I'm playing against, because I want to see what players they're playing. This is the stage. If I ever get to this stage, that's when I want access to the league. I want to see my opponent's team, so I can follow it as well. So yeah, it gets exciting from now on. The Rousey Cup, I've said it many times to you, during the group stages and that, I don't even pay any attention to it. I have no idea who I'm playing. I don't pay any attention. But if I get to this stage, this is when I'm really, once I get to the knockouts, I then want to know what the score is each week. Once I get to the quarterfinals, I then want to follow my opponent.
Well, if anybody wants to see their opponent's team, they can get access to the league to see the league. Obviously, this one's quite easy because 2 teams are against each other in Marwick Head and 2 in Queen Hill, so that's easy enough. But yeah, if I've got Citizens, South London Rebels, Newcastle Colts and Kilmarnock Kings want to see what their team they're up against, they can easily let me know and I'll add them to the league so they can see. It's no bother. But yeah, that's the quarter final. Like I said, there are only 2 more matches to go to get to the final, so it's going to be fun.
It's week 10 in the bag, Johnny.
Yep, it is.
10 in the bag, all over. And as I say, that's it's the business end now. It's the last 4 weeks, and here comes my horse to win me $400. Oh, like no man's land. That's a treble I've got coming in, Johnny. He's half a follower when he's 8 lines clear. So anyway, it's we're into the home straight now, so it's whatever you're playing for. 98% of the teams have still got something to play for in the OrkneyBowl, and that's why it's so special. Just the bottom lot of the bottom division kind of, there's no relegation, so they're kind of no caring about the playoffs. That's fine, so you kind of switch off a little bit. That's fine. But even that one of the 4th divisions, everyone's still got it to play for promotion, for playoffs. Yeah. So yeah, it's exciting. 98% of the teams are still got lots to play for with just 4 weeks to go. So I love that about this league. But
the best thing about fantasy people is, though, you might not have anything to play for, but you can put a damper on somebody else that you don't want to get qualified.
You can. That's it.
That's how you get your rivalries.
Still want to win games. So. If you're anything like me, it's I've got my pride of place as well. I don't care what my record is. I want to win my week. I want to win my game each and every week. It's just the way I am. I don't play. If I'm not playing to win, then I ain't playing. Do you know what I mean? It's that simple.
Mm-hmm. Well,
anyway, it was a very good week, and it was that's 10 weeks in already. Can't believe it. As I say, we're into the home straight. Good luck, everyone, and we'll be back next week to review what's happened in week 11 and see where everybody sits going with just 3 weeks to play after that.
Yeah, so good luck, everybody, this week, apart from Born and Bears. Sorry, but that's as we have. I want to get to the.
Listen, I'm with you there as well. I want you to beat them too. I want it to open up sooner rather than later as well. Let it be. Let the top 6 go. I want to get my top 2 spot in the bottom 6 to avoid a playoff. I suppose, game,
because you're sitting at 7th as well, aren't you? So yeah. So I'll say, actually, good luck to everybody, including you, Ian, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Sorry, my treble was coming.